This is ATL Day Ones, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
Welcome into ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. We want to say thank you for making ATL Day Ones your first listen of the day. And remember, we're free and available wherever you download your podcast. We are right there. And when wherever you download your podcast, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. We really appreciate that. I actually saw a comment that somebody dropped 5 stars in the comment box. We appreciate that as well. Keep them coming. We really appreciate you for that because that helps us, helps us, helps you, help spread the word. Because you don't want to keep, ATL Day One's a secret. Like when you got greatness going on and y'all giving us y'all time, we're going to give y'all some good. And that's what we're going to continue to do today because it is a Friday and the Atlanta Falcons versus the New Orleans Saints is going down. 1 o'clock on Sunday. We're going to do our big preview for that. And we also have a very special guest today, Ross Jackson of Locked On Saints. Let me tell you, this dude is very confident about what's going down on Sunday. We'll talk about whether or not that's real or not. And last but not least, and for the culture, Double O, Onyeka Okongwu, you always talk about how good this dude is. Well, a lot of people starting to get some notice. And speaking of good, Michael Harris is dropping some serious bread on a good cause. We'll talk about all that in the For the Culture. But first, we got to talk about Falcons versus Saints, And, I put a poll out on our community page on YouTube. Go check that out. We got a lot of good stuff over there just for you. And, I think one of the things that, I asked, because I got a little confidence myself, I asked, hey, if the Falcons win, who's going to be the MVP of that particular game? And, the choices were Lorenzo Carter, Marcus Mariota, AJ Terrell, and Kyle Pitts. And at a whopping 46%, people believe that Marcus Mariota is going to be the guy. What say you?
I thought that was very interesting because that's not the direction I went in at all. If he is serviceable, if he is dare I say, a game manager, and you get what you need out of the run game, then I think you're good to go. But I actually went with AJ Terrell. And the reason I went with him, actually, if you look at the game last night, that drubbing of Bills over Rams, but there was one thing in particular about Josh Allen. I want to say it was Stephon Diggs, but don't quote me on that. But Jalen Ramsey was targeted 8 times. You want to know how many completions? 8. So
a perfect QB rating, by the way.
Exactly.
58.3.
Josh Allen was
perfect.
In case you didn't know. The reason I'm mentioning that is because you've got AJ Terrell and you have Casey Hayward, and we're looking for them to really kind of shore up the secondary, right? To be those anchors, if you will. But when I look at it as a whole, because, hey, here and there you might need help, if you will. And then you look at the fact that the Saints do have 3 viable wide receivers in a Michael Thomas, in a Chris Olave, in a Jarvis Landry, and a wonderful, maybe one of the best, if not the best, running backs in the league who is a pass catcher out of the backfield in Alvin Kamara. Somebody somewhere is going to have to stop their receiving game. Quit lying to yourself about Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is good, okay? Quit lying to yourself and saying, well, the quarterback whisperer is gone. Sean Payton, yeah, he's gone. But guess what? The OC who had been under Sean Payton's tutelage for years, as well as, of course, the DC who's not the coach, he's still there. And he was a part of them retooling and re-envisioning and reimagining who Jameis Winston can be. So, again, for me, it's the secondary, maybe in a critical moment, Jarvis, maybe when you are right there and the Falcons have, a 3-point lead, if you will, or they're clinging to a 1-point lead, a 2-point lead, and there's a third. And does that one conversion to move the chains that'll get them in field goal position? Or, hey, if they're in the low red zone and they're about to score, where will AJ Terrell be relative to if that's a pass call for a play call and determining the game? Now that we have Casey Hayward, we're going to start to see AJ Terrell really show us his worth.
Yeah, I think he's going to get some opportunities, like you mentioned, to get some balls thrown his way because it's not wide open on the backside on the other side of the field. You know, I'm not gonna name that dude's name. Like we're done with that. 2021 is in the past, but I will reference him. It's not going to be like it was last year because I believe Casey Hayward brings a lot more to the table than that dude did last year for the Falcons. And I think that one of the things that you brought up is about Jameis Winston. I wanted to continue to talk about that. But before we do that, T, please tell the folks about what that new flavor is at Built Bar. What they got going on over there?
Yeah, Built Bar is interesting in that built.com is where it is at. And I know that's not good grammar, but hey, that's a good candy bar. That's a good chocolate chunk puff, if you will. So go back to your days like elementary school, junior high school, right? And you would sneak into the refrigerator and kind of get the little cookie dough chunk, right? Well,
Right.
that is what this is. This is like a remix or a play on that old school favorite of ours to get that raw. But here, you get some other benefits, right? So, of course, it's 100% real chocolate. That's the first thing because Built only uses quality products. The other piece is this you're talking about like calories, if you will, 160 calories. I mean, that's just amazing to think about it
Right.
from that perspective. And the fact that you still get good, healthy, wholesome ingredients that 15 grams of protein is what you're going to get from that bar because it's collagen protein. So again, you're looking for something to absorb very, very quickly. That's what this bar is able to do. The other thing is this. Hey, if you're about to go like me, I'm going to go work out. I'm going to go hit the park later on today. And I'm on the run today because I got 50,000 things to do. I don't have time to sit and eat. I do have time, however, to get that Built Bar.
Yes,
So that is what I'm going
indeed.
to do on my way to walking around the park. And then the other thing is, as you guys know, in that ATL traffic, it was thickums today. Took me much longer to
Lord.
get home today. And I expect this is what we're going to be all weekend as you guys get ready for Falcon Saints. Take that Built Bar chocolate chunk puff around with you so that you don't get in that traffic and then you're feeling some type of way because you're hungry as all get out. You want to know how to get it? That's easy. Go to built.com and use that promo code locked on so you can get that 15% off your order. Again, that's built.com using the promo code locked on 15 to get that 15% off and enjoy the best of what Built has for you these days.
Yes, go ahead and do that. Stop playing around. Speaking of, not playing around, Jameis Winston wasn't playing around last year before he got hurt. We're talking about 14 touchdowns, 3 picks, T. He looked like a different guy. You know, we talked about the quarterback whisperer, Sean Payton. Like Sean Payton had, even though if people feel that he maybe was babysitting Jameis a little bit, but he did a good job of it because he wasn't turning the ball over. He looked very efficient, and he's not the 30-30 guy that I've joked about,
Right.
and him not being an ESPN documentary.
Mhm.
So I think that, you have to take Jameis Winston seriously and think that he's more closer to the guy that we saw last year versus the guy that got him out of basically Tampa Bay, and they sent him on about his way. And I think that that's something that I think that Dean Pease is on the lookout for. I heard we heard Grady Jarrett talk about that this week,
Yes.
as far as like, hey, he's a good player. He has a live arm. But I think the main thing though, T, is they have to put pressure on this guy. They can't let him sit back there and read a newspaper.
Literally. And it's so funny. The reason I'm chuckling about that is because I made a note like after we did our exchange on email this morning, and I had 2 questions for you. And so I'm going to pose the first question based on what you just said, and we'll see if time permits that we'll get to the other one. But the question I have
Indeed.
for the Falcons is just what you said. Which O lineman, that's MEN, so that's multiples, which O linemen by committee for the Falcons are going to keep Cam Jordan in check? Because if it's not, so it's AJ Terrell in terms of who's the game changer for the Falcons as far as the defense is concerned, but on offense, who's going to check Cam? That's my question.
It's gonna have to be Caleb McGarry, T. Like it can't be Chris Lindstrom because we know what to expect from him, right? We know that he's gonna hold it down. Like more than likely, he's gonna win most of his battles. Like and that's perfect. That's all we understand that. And then with Drew Dahlman coming in as the first year starter, in the opening game, I think that's something that you're gonna have to keep an eye on. But it has to be Caleb McGarry, and it can't be super triple teams and several running backs coming to chip him and help him out. I think he's going to have to show that he can at least handle Cam Jordan, his daddy, one-on-one. And I hate to put it like that, but that's what it's been. Cam Jordan has been very vocal about how he's handled the Falcons from an edge rushing standpoint since 76 walked in that door up in Flowery Branch. And I think that's going to be the key. If we're saying that we didn't call Caleb McGarry's name more than 2 times in this game, I think the Falcons will be okay. And I think they have a really good chance of winning this game.
And that's a good point, because you think about what the Bills were able to do in pretty much neutralizing Aaron Donald last night. But I don't know that, to your point, the Falcons have that good fortune or good liberty to be able to have 2 O-linemen to keep him in check, to keep Cam Jordan in check, and then everything else is working on in all cylinders like it was for the Bills. See, they were able to double team Aaron Donald when needed, so that they could, like you said, just chip him enough so that gave Josh Allen enough time. Of course, he has also decreased his time for release, so then there's that. But ultimately speaking, yes, Caleb McGarry, you can get a little bit of help for O-line by committee, but really not a whole heck of a lot of help for O-line committee. It's probably going to fall, at least most of the time, on your shoulders.
Yes, and that's basically what it is. You don't have to grow up, essentially. Like, hey, the Falcons sent the message by not picking up your fifth-year option. Go ahead and prove them cats wrong, man. That's what the NFL is all about. When it's time to get paid, it's time to ball out. Point blank, period, as the young folks will say. Now, tonight, T, you know what time it is. Braves out on the West Coast. They're taking on the Seattle Mariners. Old Uncle Charlie is on the mound tonight. Like, how you feeling about this one? Because like, they did what they were supposed to do. They swept the A's. Now the Mariners are headed to the playoffs for the first time in about 20 years or so. Mm-hmm. But, is this a matchup that the Braves should win?
It is. It's definitely winnable for the Braves, right. But this is going to be a tough test for them on the road. Of course, they're up in Seattle, so there's that. But they did also get a day off. So I love the fact that they got a chance to kind of reset before traveling up to Seattle. But I think when you look at the matchup, if you will. And yes, Robbie Ray does have more wins. I think he has 12 wins on the season versus, say, Charlie Morton, who's going for his 8th win. But you got to look at Charlie's last outing and the fact that he was able to go almost 6 innings of 1-run ball, and he struck out, 7 batters. So when you think about that, if we can get that Uncle Charlie to come and show up today, then that'll be a good look, because you always want to start that kind of series on a winning note, if you will, especially because, yes, we do know anchoring this series for the Braves will be Jake Odorizzi. You hope that he's well rested enough to be able to do what he's doing on Sunday, but I don't want to take a chance on being forced to win games 2 and 3 to win the series. I'd rather the Braves get out there and do what they need to do, and hopefully Charlie Morton can at least keep Julio Rodriguez honest, keep Ty France honest, and then therefore keep the Mariners honest as well. So yeah, I do believe, to answer your question, that the Braves can get after it and do what they need to do, but I believe they need to have a good showing to start this series.
No doubt about it. We want to keep you all honest. You, the listener, the viewer, right here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, because guess what's coming up next? Ross Jackson of Locked On Saints will join us, and guess he is ready to roll, and the trash talk has already started. We'll get to all of that next, right here on ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and T, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta.